What is going on, my Degens? How we doing? Today we are talking best ball strategy, and I am doing that with one of the best guys around. One of the best guys I personally know, one of the best guys in best ball. He is the Fast Draft lead content creator, the guy that you want to go to for anything Fast Draft, Mr. Jagger Maye. What's up, Jag? How you doing, brother?
What's up? Thank you for the kind words, Mike. We've been in this game together a long time, so it's always fun to talk ball with you. And like you said, we're normally dynasty guys, but like with best ball, it's it feels less pure sometimes, but like in like a Vegasy fun way, where it's where it's like I'm doing things in best ball I would never do in dynasty, and that's why it's fun.
Yeah. I think that it is what I started with. Like, I think I went from redraft to best ball. Best ball was like the in-between for Dynasty for me. It almost felt like it was a good transition because I got too deep into it. And then I was like, oh, well, now that I'm deep into Dynasty, best ball feels, I'm not going to say less than, but it was just a different animal. Like it just felt like it didn't give me that. It didn't give me the food that I needed when I was hungry. It just felt like it was a fill-in when I was taking a dump, pretty much.
That very graphic, but it actually makes 1,000% sense. Like I get exactly what you're saying. Cause it's like you said, in season, I forget about like that. That's what's cool about best ball is like, oh wow, I drafted like 40 teams. I don't even know what they're doing. I think after this season, I was like, oh wow, I have money in my underdog account that I forgot about, so.
Yeah. You lose track of them, and it could be a good thing, could be a bad thing, but like you almost feel like, all right, I invested in this, and then it does go to the wayside a little bit. But I mean, it's got the ORI to return so much value. Especially if you're throwing in $5, $10, whatever it is. That's coffee money to me. But let's kick it off, man. Let's talk. I mean, we know you're with FastDraft. We are, obviously partnered up with FastDraft. We are going to be talking about FastDraft values, but really like within the values themselves, let's talk strategy a little bit. What's your strategy when you go into a best ball? Because I mean, you can have a million different strategies. You can change up every time you go in. What's been your go-to method of going into a fast draft or any best ball format for that matter?
Well, fast draft specifically, like right now we're ready to launch our full best ball tournament. And that's a whole other thing, but really where we're at now with Flex 4 is a simplified version where it's what it says is it's just flex players, no quarterbacks, draft 6, start 4. So it's even more leaning into a lot of the principles we take into best ball that we might not use into redraft, or even more so into something like Dynasty, where in this, like we talked about this ahead of time, and what I'm doing, it's all about chasing upside to like the nth degree, where you only want to kind of hit dingers in best ball. Yeah, you have your steady producers, and we're going to talk about that, but especially early on, I'm wanting people who I realistically can finish number 1 overall. That's who I want. I don't want you to finish top 5. I don't want to finish you top 10. I want to know who is going to be the number 1 overall at their position. And that's kind of like why I started, like the number 1 thing, high upside number 1s is what you want. High upside number 1s.
Yeah, so let's get into those high upside number 1s. I mean, I think the first guy that comes to mind, especially if you are going in and you're going to go into that running back heavy play style, Jahmyr Gibbs, like straight off the bat, when you're talking about high upside 1s, where does he rank up if you're looking at a draft within, if you're looking Gibbs, Bijan, maybe Genty's up there. Are you tapping Gibbs 9 times out of 10 out of that group of guys?
Yes, I'm going to as far as taking Gibbs 102. And this is an interesting stat. Repeating RB1 overall, That's only happened back to back one time in the last 10 years. And that doesn't mean I'm saying don't draft Saquon. You should draft Saquon, but especially when you think about best ball and you're not setting a lineup and the amount of volume of players within such a large tournament, you want variance and you want roster diversity. So even if Jamar Chase is 101, I'm taking Jahmyr Gibbs with my second pick. He's mine no matter what player as far as running back goes. And again, you want to build a portfolio, so you want that portfolio diversity. So I'm not going to do this every time. And that's why like I flip-flop between another receiver as well. So if I'm not going to get Jamar Chase and I'm not going to get Jahmyr Gibbs, then I'm probably going to go after someone like Puka Nacua, who I genuinely think has wide receiver one upside. We already saw it as a rookie. He was injured last season, but every game that he played, every game he was on the field, he had that wide receiver one upside. Now he has a running mate with Devontae Adams. So that's the type of player I'm going to take. Granted, it's obvious that if you don't get Puka, if you don't get Gibbs, if you don't get Jamar Chase, it's not like you could throw that roster away. You're not going to win, but that's kind of the mentality of player that I'm chasing.
Yeah. I like that. I like Puka a lot more than I did 2 months ago, 3 months ago. I like him with Devontae Adams. I love that fit. I think that this is going to give him an opportunity to really stretch out, to be that guy. And I think that we're just going to see the Rams one more push, like this is that Rams. I don't know what Devontae Adams still has longevity wise, but like this feels like the last hurrah for the Rams. Like, I think this is the last year that we are looking at them being a contender, being a legitimate Super Bowl contender when it's all said and done. And I think that McVay knows that. I think the whole front office understands that. And I think that Puka, health wise, that's the only concern I have, because it's wheels up for him all day.
Yep. And it's like, and really when you think about it, their defense is young now. They've nailed every defensive piece now. Offense, obviously Puka's going to be there a long time. They got a lot of running backs. Really, quarterback is the only thing that's going to dictate their window. And that is a huge thing to dictate it. Because a lot of people say it's like, well, he's going to be the heir apparent. The Packers are the only ones who have seemed to have found the formula of reloading at QB. And not a lot of other teams have seemed to be able to do that. I will say that they are pretty attractive for free agents now, because if you go play for Sean McVay, especially as a quarterback, they know that you're going to put up numbers. So it's not like you're how the Patriots were before May, or some of these other gutter franchises, the Steelers right now. Like Aaron Rodgers has no job offers and he's looking at the Steelers like, maybe not. Maybe I should retire. So
it is. I mean, it is a sexy thing to do, to go in there and you can see it. Like, you're as a quarterback, especially if you're, I don't know if they're going to tap a journeyman by any means, but like guys like Geno and Darnold and stuff, like that is the ideal spot, especially with Darnold being on a 1-year contract. If they need a bridge or somebody that, like, Stafford's wife is always asking him to retire. I guarantee she's probably asking him right now, like, hey man, you good? Like, is this it? Are we done here? I think it's going to happen sooner than later. And it's not going to be necessarily up to Stafford at that point, but yeah, I could see anybody wanting to be over there. And I think that they can transition pretty well with a bridge guy as well.
And to talk about bridge guys, I guess we go to this. The next thing is like the proven productive vets. Devontae Adams, I'm just way in on. I'm way in on Devontae Adams in every format, man. It's like Dynasty, he's cheap enough to where I'm like, fuck yeah, man. Like, I could see wide receiver one upside for both. We've seen this out of this offense. We know McVay can cook it up. We know Stafford can handle it. Like, it's realistic that Puka could finish top 3, Devontae Adams top 15. So, and especially like in best ball, this is like the variance. And for me, I don't know, like, you went from like the natural progression for a lot of people, redraft, maybe you get into some tournament best ball, then you get into sicko shit like Dynasty and Devi. For me, it was the opposite. I was like, Dynasty, I'm having to like remove filters from my brain when I draft. Well, I'm like, wow, I've been ignoring Devontae Adams, and he's right there with that upside that you're getting in a lot of these middle rounds here. And let's like, even if you think about like for our ADP and fast draft and where Devontae Adams going, He's going 42nd overall. That's like the top of the 4th round. You realistically, and especially you drafted 6 players, you can smash running back early. You could do exactly the strategy I'm giving you, where you can get Jahmyr Gibbs early. If you want Devontae Adams, dope. Or you can get another running back, let's say Ashton Genty, some of these Amarian Hampton, some of these other premium running backs, and then get Devontae Adams and smash wide receiver and have these high variance finishers that are going at a discount now. And that's like the real that's what makes you win in any format of fantasy, is if you can eliminate format bias and to tackle implicit upside. And when I talk about redraft, specifically best ball being not as pure as Dynasty, in a way it's even more pure because you're chasing bottom line only. Like you're not caring. I'm not trying to live for tomorrow. I'm not here for a long time, baby. I'm here for a good time. And looking at players like Devontae Adams and some of these other vets, Rashee Rice, and you just kind of eliminate all those priors and take these shots. That's what I'm doing,
Yeah, I think it's smart, and it's hard. It is hard to turn off that switch in your brain, because if you're dynasty, and then you get into a fast draft, best ball, and you're just like, all right, flex 4, you're looking at like these valuable rookies or anybody. We'll get into those a little later. But it's like I constantly have to struggle with myself as far as the values go and who I'm going for, because in dynasty I'm always going heavy into wide receiver, because the longevity of the wide receiver, the window you have, you're getting these guys at a young age, and you can do anything you want because the value window stays way wide open, as opposed to the running backs, where I'm good taking the bums, like the guys, the Swifts and the guys in the back end 10th, 11th round, like these guys are who I want to go for, because I'm fine. I can plug and play. I can get any guy in the 2nd round next year and probably have somebody of equal or better value. But yeah, when I'm jumping to fast draft, I can get these running backs super early. You're right. Like I can tap like a Saquon, or I can get like a Gibbs. I can go back to back with these running backs, because we are talking about productive value, and these vets, Devontae Adams, even we're talking about from like Deebo Samuel's way back there. And I know that a lot of people, that might give up, like some PTSD to certain people that had Deebo last year and just kind of fell flat, obviously. But are you with me on this? I love Deebo on the Commanders. I think that he has a short window, and hear me out here, a short window to be that hybrid guy that got him so valuable in Dynasty that 1 year in San Francisco. Because we're looking at Brian Robinson, we're looking at, Krosky Merritt, and then there's a wide open, there's nothing there. Like, do you see them maybe trying to work him within the backfield and kind of getting that hyper extensive value that we saw in like 2021, 22, whatever year that was?
I mean, and this is what we're watching this in live action right now. You're watching me eliminate dynasty bias, or realizing I even have one, because I can't even count how many drafts I've done. I can't even count how many drafts I've done. At this point, between all the best ball, me and you have done like 3 startups in Dynasty this season. I don't own a single share of Deebo Samuel. I've never liked Deebo. Even his 1 or 2 years where he's productive, I missed out. I just don't like his profile. But this is best ball, guys. Like Mike, you made a good point, and we're going to skip around. Like we went from for best ball strategy, high upside number 1s where you want to target early, then you're proven productive vets. I'm going to go all the way down to diverse sleepers. Looking at his fast draft ADP, that's 84. That means he's going undrafted sometimes. His roster sit percentage is 3.3%. Here's where you're going to get into the strategy factor and what can make you win, and you making a diverse portfolio just to have chances to have a roster that is different from the 99% of other people. Deebo Samuel seems like that perfect candidate. The players that I put here were Trey Benson and Ray Davis. Same thing. These are people that, like, Trey Benson left a nasty taste in some other people's mouth. Let's actually not even nasty. Let's say just bland. That James Conner was still James Conner, didn't get hurt, and he had a slower start to the same tail end of the season. Ray Davis is 1,000 years old, and James Cook's still there. But James Cook's holding out. We know how that goes. Deebo Samuel got fat. 49ers say, bye-bye. You go take your lunch and go. And he goes to Washington. But if you think about motivation of playing with someone like Jaden Daniels, if you think about opportunity, because the wide receiver 2 position is pretty wide open still, and running back is thin, it is like the perfect Deebo situation. With all that thought in mind, it's still gross for me as a dynasty player, but he's a good bet in best ball at cost. In flex 4, I will do Deebo Samuel. But if you're going to do full format, some of his ADPs just too damn high for me right now. I can look right now, actually. I got full best ball ADP up now. Deebo Samuel, he's going 6'2" after Alvin Kamara, right behind Kenneth Walker and Chris Olave. That's a no for me, dog. I can't do it for that.
That's a big no for me as well. I mean, we can jump around. I think we are jumping around.
We're already there, dog. We've already jumped.
Let's just keep jumping. Can you being the fast draft guy, can you pull up Chris Olave's ADP on there?
Oh, yeah. I've been big on Chris Olave.
I love Chris Olave for best ball. He might be only playing 5 to 6 games, but those 5 to 6 games are going to be magical. Boom, boom, boom.
Chris Olave 65. That means he's a lot of people's last picks. 33.3% rostership right now, which means you still have that roster diversity advantage of taking someone that other people haven't taken, and you're getting him at a low ADP. Because you got to think and remember, guys, that like right now it's the Wild West. Only the sickos are doing this. So inevitably we could see Chris Olave's ADP change, meaning it'll lower or raise depending on what happens in camp or what beat reporter says something. So you want to talk about Chris Olave, man. And on the sheet, this is another like fast draft ADP outlier where same strategy we said, go get Jahmyr Gibbs, go get Barkley, Genty, these high-end running backs early, then just smash wide receiver with your last 3 picks, which is, I intentionally didn't put them on the sheet as like a section here because I wanted to trickle this in. This is what a good time to do that. Just don't take tight end in this format, guys. Just don't. Like Brock Bowers, maybe Trey McBride, maybe, then don't.
I think if you can draft these guys and avoid tight ends, because if we talk about best ball tight ends, it is never, if you're flex 4 and you have the option to fade tight end altogether. I see guys go full in. I see guys go full in tight end. I see guys in flex 4 go 3 tight ends sometimes because they think it's value. But it's like, dude, we are looking at, okay, you can take all these high-end running backs first while guys are taking Brock Bowers, McBride, Laporta, and then you can you can go get Olave, you can go get Terry McLaurin, you can go get Devontae Adams, you can get all these guys that are going to smash in best ball. You know what I mean? Like, and they're undervalued because everyone is jumping up to get either tight end or rookie players. Rookies are jumping up in general. But like these rookie running backs that, like, I love Hampton, but Najee's not. You're a Najee guy.
He's not going anywhere. Like everyone's convinced. Amari Hampton's going to get 70% touches. I'm like, I don't think that's true, man.
How is he? Hampton's going over some of the likes of like guys that are surefire best ball monsters.
Trevion Henderson is one. Like I'm taking Hendo 10 times out of 10 over Hampton, guys. The only time I've taken Hampton ahead of Henderson was stacking. I was like, I got some McConkey, I got some Herbert. I'm going to go get, that's the only reason why.
Yeah. And if you're going to compare Hampton and Trevion Henderson, we can do that real fast. We're both Patriots fans. I could tell you exactly what could happen. I mean, Najee Harris doesn't miss games, and he doesn't fumble. I mean, his fumble rate is very low. So he's not going to, he has decent ball security, but he is the epitome of, he is a health monster, dude. He's like never missed a game in his career. Like we're talking college and NFL. He's played
behind dog shit offensive lines. Like he should have been injured.
Game. Dude, he is health like all day. You can say anything you want about Najee, but he doesn't miss. And then you kind of reverse that. You go over to New England, dude. He's playing behind a guy that fumbles twice a game. He misses half the season, and I don't think Ramondre is even going to be on the team next year. And then you're going to couple that with the fact that Josh McDaniels is on that team. When Josh McDaniels was on that team, Ramondre didn't even see the field. Yep. Ramondre wasn't even playing at all.
Yeah, and we've watched this team for years. I'll tell everyone, this is James White, except he can get early touches. Like we've never had that. Like it's like everyone's just like, you need to own James White. Why did you want to own James White? Because he caught like 1,000 passes. That's gonna be Anderson, you know.
Yeah, I mean, if we're okay, so we're talking fast draft. We got boost modifiers right now. So Dylan jumped in here. What's up, man? How you doing? He wants some examples of boost modifiers you made post for flex. And we can do this real quick. What's your favorite modifier? Because I'm going. I don't necessarily go off the modifiers that, like, obviously they are given and they're set, but you can boost and mess around with them a little bit. What's a good example of like how you've adjusted the modifiers as far as if you are going running back heavy first, and then you're tapping the value wide receivers? Is there any strategy for modifiers that you use, Jagger?
Really? And this is crazy because I talked to our real nerds, like them in the Google Sheet trenches nerds. The real thing that obviously, if you think they're going to score a lot, you're drafting them early, and that's how you should put your modifiers. Obviously, we know that's not how fantasy works. If everyone scored in the same order as they were drafted, there would be no gambling in there. So what I do is the ones that we know, obviously, that probably are competing for number one overall. Let's say like Jahmyr Gibbs, Puka Nacua, Jamar Chase, Saquon's, they are getting my highest booster. Obviously, they're going to get my highest ones, but like my other ones, to give myself another layer of roster diversity, because that's what this is like you have a set group of players in a small pool, which is going to create a lack of diversity between rosters. So we're going to have a lot of ties. How do we break that up? And that's putting a booster bet on players that you think have high variance. And let's say if you draft a player that you think is safe, let's say like I'm looking at it right now, Khalil Shakir. I think he is safe. I want him as like a wide receiver 3 or something, because I think he can finish higher than someone else. Let's throw this out there, like maybe Jacoby Myers, maybe he has higher, but the upside is kind of the same. I don't want to put a high modifier on that type of player, but circle back to what we said as like someone like Devontae Adams. Kenneth Walker is someone who we didn't talk about, but I had in productive vets. Or even this is actually a good one. Like someone else I put on the sheet, rookies with draft capital. That's another thing that will give you the advantage right now over normal players who happen to be drafting right now. Those are the ones I'm going to put like my 1.5 booster, my one on, like Caleb Johnson, Travis Hunter. These are players that are going. Travion Henderson right now is 52 on Flex 4. That is one of your last 2 picks. Throw your next booster on him, like we just said, because he has that upside to have a Reggie Bush type rookie season. I'm not just throwing this out there. Like realistic projections and scoring. Travion Henderson can have a Reggie Bush rookie season. If you got a player that you took as one of your last picks and you got that booster, while everyone else is boosting up, let's say the Khalil Shakirs, David Montgomery, some of these players that might finish mid, Joe Mixon. That's a red flag there. Joe Mixon at 38. Say someone else is putting a booster on Joe Mixon, you're putting on Travion Henderson. That's going to give you the diversity, and that's how I place my boosters is, yeah, some of them I'm going to make pretty chalky, but if I'm going to have a diverse portfolio, I want one of these teams to have some of my lower picks with a high booster, because we know year in and year out, rookies tend to outperform their ADPs time and time again. And I hope that made sense.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it makes sense to me. I hope it makes sense to Dylan out there. He seems to understand that diversity is key. Every time I hear diversify your portfolio, I'm thinking of like, you've seen, you're a big Dave Chappelle guy, obviously, when we're talking about, everybody going on there, but like there was the diversify your bonds episode.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Diversify your bonds. And it was like Jizza and RZA and everybody like, yeah. But yeah, diversity is key, obviously, and especially when you're modifying and stuff. Like you could have taken Malik Neighbors had this been the case last year, and you could have, taken him way back. We're talking about rookie targets that you can modify, and I don't think anybody was modifying Neighbors when he got matched up with Daniel Jones. Nobody really was like, okay, let's go throw all my money on Malik Neighbors being the wide receiver one with the ghost of Daniel Jones and Danny DeVito, Danny Cutlets throwing him the ball. And nobody had mocked that. Everyone was going Marv. Everyone was like, okay, let's throw money on Marv. Let's, you know what I mean? Like you want to call it like you see it, but these landing spots don't always dictate the production. So finding
like Ted McMillan, man, like like that's like right now, like what you said, that's applicable to Tetero McMillan. No one likes Bryce Young. Excuse me, normies don't like Bryce Young. Most of us analysts, we see the upside with Dave Canales. He's in the perfect situation to finish wide receiver 15, and you could throw a good booster on him. And then when you put that booster on him, wide receiver 15 is suddenly, wide receiver 5 or something.
Yeah. If normies aren't in on him, I think that makes me very unnormal, because I actually have a hot take out there that he's going to outproduce CJ Stroud this year. And I think that he's valued very similarly as far as tiers go next year. I think they're going to be very close. Bryce Young right now, especially, I'm going with Dynasty market right now, but he's like a 7th, 6th, like 5th rounder. Like he's like the back end guy of he's like in the golf range. And then Stroud is still in that, he's in that Drake May category still. He's going where Bo Nix, Drake May, everybody goes. And I see that being a lot closer next year. I think they're going to be in the same round next year. So yeah, I'm all in on Tet. And then I think people are really fading Ibuka, especially in FastDraft. I think you are. I think everyone is. I see the vision. I personally see him having a way more productive rookie year than everyone is kind of projecting right now. And it's not necessarily anything to do with the health of other guys. I just think he's got way more juice than anybody on that team. I think he's going to come in and be better than anybody. I don't think he's going to have that go route, that outside ability like a Mike Evans, but I think he's going to run circles around a Godwin. I think
really already you just think Godwin's dust.
I don't think Godwin's dust. I think Godwin is okay. If you took Pete Godwin and Pika Ibuka, I would still take Ibuka. And it's not like I don't think Godwin is dust. I think that Godwin right now is not Ibuka. And it's not I think what Godwin does, Ibuka does a little better. I think Ibuka is a technician with his routes. I think that he comes in and out of his breaks like a magician. The dude is like, I just think that he is going to claim targets and he's going to be on the field regardless. And I don't know how that works, but I don't see a way that they're going to keep Ibuka off the field for an extensive period next year.
That's pretty bullish. Where I'm at is, and I need to get, this is another one I'm ashamed to say, I have 0 shares of Egbuka. And here's why, guys. It's like, I get the long-term, and this includes Dynasty. I get the long-term Dynasty value. The trade value I've gotten for Egbuka, I've fallen for it every time. It's just been like, if someone wants to trade up and get Egbuka and I can get Jack Besh and Bashal Tootin I'm going to take that deal. But with that being said, I think that even in fast draft, and I'm happy Dylan brought up the question about boosters, because I think Egbuka is another one where you can get pretty good roster diversity, what I consider as a handcuff. Like, you should draft Egbuka for the same reasons why I tell people in best ball they should draft Rico Dowdle, who is a inferior player in comparison, doesn't have the draft capital, but the opportunities there. To where I think the Buccaneers have they've done just a fucking fantastic job of setting their offense for the future, to where it is clear, all right, Mike Evans is down, McMillan, you're up, baby girl, just like go put him in. And then if Chris Godwin goes down, Egbuka can go in, or vice versa. I'm curious to where Kate Otten fits in all this. And we can eliminate that they can just run a lot of 3 wide receivers. So if anything, you're probably right. And Egbuka is another one. I'm looking at it right here. Speaking of Bashal Tootin, this is another one. If I'm wild, man, I'm going to throw a big booster on players like that.
Wait, because you're a wild boy though. Hold up. Like, let me, you talking about Bashal Tootin. Can we talk about the Jacksonville backfield like fast? I mean, not fast.
Yeah,
we can just go into it. We can.
Yeah,
I've been dying.
It's only been 30 minutes. We're not even.
I know. Well, yeah, dude, we're cooking, man. I know that we're jumping around, and I like that. I figure that's what we're gonna do. I mean, show sheet goes out the window when you and I are on a pod together. But all right, so we see Tootin going in. We see Cohen. How we see that playing out, and what's your take on how they're going to do this? I mean, we don't know who his guy is. We don't know who they love. Standpoint from you alone, who is the running back you want on that team? And that is, we can go into best ball strategy off of that team alone, but in your gut, in your belly, who's the guy that you want?
I'm going to not answer your question by giving you a different answer. I don't want ETN. Right. And it's more drafting at cost. I don't want ETN. If I can trade for ETN, I'll make that bet in like Dynasty. But like right now, I can't see myself clicking the button in best ball, but I will take Bashal Tootin because it's tabula rasa, clean slate in Jacksonville. And he just seems like athletic Bucky Irving for what they want to do and his play style. On the other side of that, we do know that Cohen isn't ashamed to use multiple backs. And we know what Tank Bigsby does. I think Tank Bigsby is still the best pure early down runner on that team, even with Tootin, even with Etienne. Tootin and Bigsby are still on cheap contracts. Last time I checked, Etienne, I don't think he's even showed up to OTAs. And when you're a running back in a new system, that's kind of alarming. So that's where I'm at.
I didn't even hear about that. Hold on a second.
Yeah. I'm confirming on Twitter right now, but I'm pretty sure he has not shown up to OTAs, or he didn't. So
yeah, I agree with you. I think that Tank Bigsby is lockstep in a role. Tank Bigsby does what these two guys don't do. You know what I mean? He's a north-south guy. He is somebody that's going to break tackles. He's going in. We're talking about a couple outside runners when Etienne and Bashal Tootin, and that's not even a knock on their game. I think that they are good, but I think Etienne needs his boost. He needs the ability to get on the outside, and I think that his injuries have made him lose that. And really, his game was all about running to the outside,
explosiveness.
His game was like. When you take that away, like when you take a guy that can really not run between the tackles very well, but is like electric on the outside, all of his big runs are to the right or the left, mostly to the right, but like he doesn't have that. And that's what we see with him. He's fading out. And if we see a healthy guy, like maybe he has value there, but man, it's really going to be if we're talking about Anthony Richardson versus Dimes, this is the Etienne versus Bashal Tootin show over here in Jacksonville. And I think that Tootin has all the juice show up. I think that the knock on him is going to be ball security and pass pro. And well, not that ETNA is good in pass pro either, but like I think that they are on level playing field right now. So I can't see all three of them getting touches. I don't think that's going to play out. I think Cohen's going to pick this favorite of the two.
Yeah, and here I got it up now. It's like one May 7th from Jeremy Fowler that multiple people around the league say that the new regime isn't as high on Travis Etienne, and Tank Bigsby has a fumbling issue. That's like the big thing there. Like they just like don't really like him. Much like you said, if he's lost explosion, that's a huge problem because that's his whole appeal. And then from 1 day ago, Jacksonville Jaguars running back Travis Etienne Jr. was absent from day 4 of the team's OTA practices. And Jaguars reporter Carlos Sanchez believes signs are pointing toward a potential trade for the former first-round pick. So that's like it seems like Etienne could be a Cowboy. He could be off somewhere else, and that's like fine. But as we've seen for these running backs, just because they're going to be traded, it doesn't mean they're just going to like fit into like, oh, I'm going to be a Bengal now. That doesn't work, a lot of times. And even then, that's not the cleanest landing spot. So I'm going to land on Tootin for his cost, especially. So.
Yeah, I mean, the year is 2023, and you have Javonte Williams and Etienne as your running backs. You are going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I
mean, I don't
2025?
Yeah.
I mean, dude, that would have been an electric show, both healthy and coming out of college. But yeah,
what could have been with that class? You got to think like realistically, the class of Ramondre, Travis Etienne, Javonte Williams, or was Travis Etienne ahead of them? Or
I think he was 1 year after that class.
Yeah,
because he came out in 2023 and they were 2022. Yeah, I think it was 1 year after, but. I mean, same sentiment. Like we're looking at guys that, man, massive injuries that when you have explosive guys, it is what it is. But let's kick it back to best ball, man. Let's get back to the show here. Yeah, I don't know, dude. I think that trade needs to happen. I think there's no way that these three guys are playing football in the same backfield.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, and it's like you said, like a lot of these new coaches come in, they're just like, fuck this guy, especially with running backs. And like, I don't even know why. Like they just come in, they're like, I just think you suck. It's like Ben Johnson with DJ Moore. He came in talking shit. I mean, like a lot of people think I'm crazy for drafting Burden. Like DJ Moore's still there. Ben Johnson basically said he hates DJ Moore multiple times. Like, I don't know how
dude, and it's like, all this stuff's got to stem from something. You know what I mean? Like they played against each other. Like they've been in the league together at some point.
Twice a year.
Yeah. They played against each other. They like he said something, like something happened, dude. They are all like, they're not, we got to think about it. Like they're all kind of like emotionally unstable in football. Like really, like they're, even when we're talking about coaches, they all hold grudges. They all get mad at each other. Like we saw Belichick sit people just because
they missed they're late for a practice or something like that. It's like the wildest shit ever. Dude, you remember that Matt Patricia year we had where Kendrick Bourne was our best receiver, and we wasted that contract. Like Kendrick Bourne's cooked now, but he was a good player at a time. He missed one practice and he shadow realmed him for an entire year. It's wildest shit ever.
Dude, it's insane. Like the fact that they'll just be like, all right. I mean, life happens, bro. Like I'm late to work because my kid shit his pants and I had to get him changed. Like it is what it is, dude. Like there's things are out of your control sometimes, and it is what it is, man. It's like, God, give these kids a break sometimes. All right.
So where are you at on Caleb Johnson before we go? Because like I want to talk about
on Caleb Johnson. I think that people are taking RJ Harvey where Caleb Johnson's going. RJ Harvey is too damn high, man. And it's okay to be in on RJ Harvey. I'm in on RJ Harvey. I'm not in on where he's going. And especially at the Origins draft, he's going 102 sometimes. He's going insane. I do you have the Origins ADP? Like, do you have it
I can get it up
separated?
right now, man. Yeah,
Dude,
it's like
pull
it,
that
it
up because
it's fucking wild, man. Because like, let's put it this way: it's even this is everywhere. It's a pandemic right now because like I started early before draft season. I was like, we're too high on Caleb Johnson. They're like, he's an RB2, and I'm like, I don't think that's true at all. Now he's at the point where I'm like his biggest defender. I'm like, I said he wasn't the RB2. I didn't say he was garbage, but he's still 107 right now. But that keeps going up. He's the biggest riser. Like over the last 14 days, he's climbed almost 2 spots.
Wait, we're
And
talking
he's
about RJ Harvey, right?
RJ Harvey. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's jumped Judkins, he's jumped Caleb Johnson. I think Judkins is too cheap, man. The one thing the Browns can do is run the football. That's the one thing that they can do.
They are going way over. I mean, that ADP is a collective thing from before the draft to the point where once he got drafted, obviously the ADP hasn't fully caught up to where he's going. But like, I'm in 3 to 4 drafts a day, or I'm seeing 3 to 4 drafts in the Discord or whatever. You know, I'm in the know, and Harvey's going 103, 104 in almost every draft that I've seen. I can't take him over Judkins. I can't. There's no way. No way.
Yeah. It's like the Browns again. Kevin Stefanski runs the most running back friendly offense ever. I don't know about you. I don't think Shadur Sanders is a 5th round pick. I don't think he's 5th round pick bad, you know, like, and I definitely think he's probably the best QB in that room and the best QB that's been on that team. I don't know. The Browns have been bad a long fucking time on quarterback, so I don't even know. Since Baker Mayfield,
you could go to Baker. You could go all the way to Baker, and I feel good saying that too because I don't think he's a 5th round pick, and that was like a learning moment. That was like hey, we're going to teach this kid a lesson kind of thing, more than the fact that he was just that plain awful. You know, like he's not a Tyler Shuck. Like he's not. There's no reason why we're talking about him going that far down. But yeah, I think he's got a steep hill to climb at this point. But like, they're going to be moving the ball more than people assume, and that's going to be the reality of it. Like we've seen offenses cook with Flacco, and they have Flacco. Like we've seen teams move the ball with like very subpar quarterback play. I don't think you should be fully fading a running back on a team that, dude, we see what was the splits for Chubb last year when healthy? I mean, he wasn't healthy at all last year, but
he still was relevant. Became relevant.
Chubb was good every year, and they haven't had a quarterback since Baker Mayfield, and Baker Mayfield wasn't even good when they had him. So it's like we have seen that team as a whole produce a bona fide, straight up RB1. The RB1 some seasons alone, like he was already like in that realm of production with nobody at quarterback, and they weren't scoring touchdowns. But we're still talking about an offense that is probably going to look exactly the same and produce an RB1 on it. And I don't know if the fate is because they're scared of the Browns or because they're scared of Dylan Sampson. I don't know. I'm not scared of any of that.
Yeah, I was like, Dylan Sampson just tells me they hate Jerome Ford. Like Jerome Ford was not very good last year, but he was fantasy relevant. And I mean, he wasn't very good as like a playing standpoint. He was productive. That's what a lot of people don't. That's what film versus analytics doesn't always get right. Like sometimes it does. Like Jerome Ford was like relatively ass at running the football, but just because the Browns are who they are as a system and a volume, I had Jerome Ford in the flex a lot in a lot of places.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, if you think about that,
Jerome Ford produced last year with a worse offense, with and he was efficiently awful.
Like, he was running in the back of the guards every time, basically.
He still got you like 10 to 12 a game as a bad running back.
Yeah, it's fucking wild, man. That's the point like we're making here. But like RJ Harvey, we're going off of, I get it, guys. The Broncos had a very good offensive line. Bo Nix is a very good check down player. But RJ Harvey was not a good receiver at UCF. He's just, like it was just not there. He wasn't doing what Henderson's doing. So it's just it's when I think the situation and the hype kind of exceeds our logic. Another one I want to talk about too is like Cam Scattaboo. I just think it's too high. Trey Harris is too high. And like our Origins tournament, now I'm looking at it. Luther Burden, Bashal Tootin, Kyle Williams, and Jack Besh are shadow realmed behind Tyler Warren, Cam Scattaboo. It's like, what the fuck? Like this is best ball, guys. Like, and these are like dynasty values where, like, I don't know, man. It's just, I see the OTA stuff about Tyler Warren. I'm having a hard time getting there for redraft year one. I don't know where you're at on that. Like you would talk about your hot take about Bryce Young. My hot take is that Terrence Ferguson, Colston Loveland, and Mason Taylor could finish ahead of Tyler Warren in year one. I'm not saying, this is not saying that Tyler Warren sucks or he's not good. It's just that the Colts fucking suck. They're not a good team. Anthony Richardson has played 7 snaps of college football, and it shows Daniel Jones is Daniel fucking Jones. And we can't seem to bake that into Tyler Warren's ranking. I just don't get it.
Yeah, I think the only guy that I want is Jonathan Taylor on that team, and
that's even
going to stand pat regardless of who the quarterback is. You know, like I don't care if they trade for Joe Flacco. I think that is going to be the reality of it. Man, imagine if they trade for Joe Flacco. I feel like that would just, you know, what would you trade Joe Flacco? What would you trade for Joe Flacco? Like, would it be?
I hope Jim Irsay's ghost comes down with his daughters and just fires everybody if they would do that. The guy that you had in your room, you let him go, and then you're going to trade an asset to bring him back. Get the fuck out of here.
They would have to be like cash considerations. You know, like in baseball when they trade for a guy, it's like they gave him a vending machine. Like you watch Moneyball.
We'll do it for money.
They get free soda in the clubhouse or something. Like I bet honestly, I bet in Indianapolis they have to pay for the soda there. I bet they have to pay for the drinks there.
Well, you remember the facility reports that came out in the Patriots? Like you basically got to use a quarter to use a bathroom in New England. Some shit like that, you know. It's like when you go to Mexico and they charge you to pee sometimes. You know?
yeah. You get that. Yeah, that's crazy. That's, I mean, bro, what are we doing? I can't even go to a Patriots game anymore. Like it's gotten to be a little too. I don't know. It's not even. It's the inconvenience of going there and then spending that kind of money. You know, like Foxborough is not easy to go to. If you're living in the Boston area, you're like, okay, like I could go sit. There's one way in, one way out, and you're going to be in traffic for 4 hours, and that's it's not.
I was gonna say it's Colorado, man. Colorado, it's just like if you want to, like, why don't you ski more? And I'm like, there's one road up most mountains, and everyone comes here to ski. I'm good. And it's like it's 4 fucking hours to get there. That doesn't include the traffic, but anyway, back to best ball thing. Though it's just like that's the point that we want to bring up here is just like, especially like I'm happy we went to the Gamma tournament, is that there is clear discrepancies. And this brings it back full circle, Mike, of eliminating bias and just thinking about realistic numbers and possibilities and trying to execute off there, where it's just like, yeah, I really don't like Emeka Egbuka, and I think he's very situational dependent. Year one, same thing of Tyler Warren. But I've even, with that said, with Tyler Warren in best ball, I have drafted Tyler Warren. Maybe Anthony Richardson might not suck. Maybe Daniel Jones goes back to year one day ball, Daniel Jones, and there's real production there. And that's a lot of that's what will help you win. Is just eliminating bias. So you're not overweight. It's like, I believe in Garrett Wilson and Justin Fields, but like, it's like, fuck, I got 60% rostership. I need to go draft some other players, you know?
Yeah, it's all about, like, I have Tyler Warren. You know what I mean? Like you got to diversify. You got to go, like, you got to get a little something in each. Like, I can't take Warren. I can't take Warren even over Burden in best ball. And I don't know why people think Burden's not a good tap on best ball. And
He's
we're
so
not
easy to
talking,
get, man.
he is so easy to get in best ball. And in fast draft, he is going like in the mid second, right? Like his
Shadow
ADP,
realm. Yeah.
he
Yeah. It's
is in, and we're talking about just rookie
20,
only draft.
20. Like this is a top, he was picked 39 overall, guys. That is as close to first. And when you watch these draft videos of, and I mean real draft videos of actual teams discussing with each other, they're not thinking in terms of rounds, guys. They're thinking in terms of ranked players, where it's just like, if you give us the 39th pick, we'll get this. That's what they turn value. So like, what I mean, he's a 39th player pick. Being top 50 is a big deal. And we have Burden at 20. And this is not me knocking Egbuka. If Egbuka is going 11 overall, why the fuck is Burden going 20? It's the same thing, guys. Thank you, Dylan. Dylan, you're one of us. Thank you.
Yeah, he gets it, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, Z's in the chat. He gets it too,
Yeah.
man. It is hard. It's hard to break the dynasty bias. It's hard to break, even if you're going redraft. Like if guys are already doing redraft and that's what they do, they're like, you know, in office pools and stuff, and they are jumping into fast draft, and like it is a wide variety. I'm a dynasty guy. It's hard to like realize that people don't do dynasty, man. It is such a niche market, and it's like it's hard to, I guess, envision a world without dynasty football. I feel like that's such a big part of my identity.
We would be better analysts. That's a fact. I'm the biggest dynasty supporter out there, but I genuinely think that dynasty, and you've heard me go on this rant, especially Devi, I think it is the most harmful formats for the casual person, where some of the things that we're talking about in the future are possibilities, or not even weighing in the realistic opportunity of some of these younger guys gets us in trouble all the time. That's why, like, the main thing I wanted to talk about on the sheet is like proven productive vets, man, where Kenneth Walker and Devontae Adams are just so fucking cheap in comparison to a lot of these rookies that are going a lot higher in best ball, in redraft. It's where it's like, yeah, in dynasty, it's this whole other animal, but you need to treat it like that. And you need to leave that mentality there sometimes, where it's really hard for people, especially us, where a lot of us analysts, where we're in these trenches 365 days of the year, where it's just like, or you're really going to draft like another one. Aaron Jones is someone I want to talk about. Jordan Mason and Aaron Jones are incredibly easy to lock up a good backfield and a very good rushing offense. But dynasty guys don't want to talk about that because Aaron Jones is gross. And Jordan Mason had no draft capital and is 27, is on a new team. But again, breaking your brain, like Z said, to see the possibility that it's less than zero. I mean, hell, it's less than, it's more than 0% chance. It's more than a 40% chance that Jordan Mason and or Aaron Jones has a top 15 season within the Vikings offense.
Oh yeah. I mean, more, I don't know. I'm not going to throw out percentages here, but like, it's gotta be higher than that, because yeah, it's not even like we haven't seen massive production from this guy. Like the only thing that would deter me, but this isn't even a factor in best ball, is the health, you know, because he is going to produce no matter what, if he's on the field. I don't see a world where Aaron Jones isn't a locked in RB2 for the year in best ball tournaments and in general in redraft. And like, there's no way, because I think that we're talking about Mason, a great target later. I don't know if he's going to be somebody you go in for a flex 4 or anything. Obviously that's
I mean, if you want to talk about diversity, man, Jordan Mason, I just control F'd it, and is he even on the map right now?
Probably not, right?
That's what I'm talking about, man. Is like, I think Jordan Mason right now, especially in flex 4, he could be a cheat code because just no one is drafting him whatsoever.
That's what we can talk. Like, you are going to try to get the outliers to win the bag this year in fast draft, in flex 4. You're really, everybody's going to have a similar team unless you go and tap these guys way outside and feel comfortable having a couple guys that you're going to take way outside of ADP, because that's a good strategy to have. You're going to have a one-off that booms, and that could be the difference between being in like a 30th place to a first place. I mean, way wider range than that, but like, you know, with these tournaments, a little thing can jump you up 500 spots.
That's fucking wild, man. I don't even know if we have Jordan Mason on here. That might be an error. And it might not be, but there's no way that people are drafting Brant. Well, like we got Brant Keith in the system. Our tight end, I don't even think it was drafted. I think that's exploitable. I need to. Oh, that's what's going on. I'm on the wrong tournament data. That's why. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, there's no way. Okay, he's 93 now. Jordan Mason's 93. Which is he's going undrafted a lot, 1.4%, man. This is what we're talking about, man. Roster, and he's on my FastDraft show sheet for today, talking about like Devontae Adams, Chuba Hubbard, Jordan Mason, Javonte Williams, Rashad Bateman. These are all players that we think are gross, besides maybe Adams, Mason, and Hubbard early, but those guys are pretty cheap. That dynasty guys are going to tell you not to draft or some reason, like for some reason, like I drafted Rashad Bateman at the 111 in 2012 and I think he sucks. And it's just like, okay, he was injured for 2 years and the Ravens still really like him and he's productive, you know, like this is a type of player that you could target where you get a Jawan Jennings. How profitable was Jawan Jennings in fantasy last year for players, you know?
Dude, you've been smashing the drum for Jawan Jennings. I like that a lot. Yeah, I think Bateman is like the most undervalued guy in any format at this point, you know, because even in Dynasty, we're talking about getting him in the 14th, 15th round right now. And we heard like the fact that he was untradeable for that team. They didn't want to move off of him at all, you know, because when Dallas traded for Pickens, they wanted Rashad Bateman first. Imagine that though. Imagine Bateman jumping on the Cowboys and being healthy. I think we're talking about a pass.
Bateman's a better player than George Pickens. It's not even fucking close to me. It's always been about
close. It is not even close. If you are talking about a pure prospect, if you're talking about talent wise, Bateman is so much of a better player, and the NFL knows that and understands that. It's just, you know, Dynasty and people in fantasy want to believe otherwise. But
and to give you Flex 4 data, he's dropped in the last 14 days, barely, but 0.2% rostership. Just a little nugget, guys.
That's Bateman. And I mean, it's tough because we're talking about a run first offense, you know, but if we're also referring to a run first offense where the running back is 30 years old, like there's a possibility that Henry is injured and they have to shift, and Lamar can throw it, man, and he can, and they can run a pass heavy offense if they need to. They just haven't needed to, you know, they haven't had to. Like Harbaugh's there and they're running it. But I mean, I think there's a definitely, and especially in best ball, a big opportunity to grab Bateman for free. And then obviously have some boom weeks in there for sure.
Yep. That's all I got as far as like strategy right now and tournaments on there. It's like, I guess we talk all day on like ADPs and stuff like that. It's just like, especially when we get our full tournament, man, when we get the quarterbacks in here, that's just like another layer of strategy on top of that. Cause like talking about the Jets, man, the Jets are going to break my heart this year. It's just so hard for me not to draft Jets players because they've collected so much talent of players that I see on tape that the NFL knows that there's talent there. That's why they keep paying them or buying them. Like Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, Justin Fields, Mason Taylor, like give me all of those at cost right now. And you want to talk about stacks. It's so easy to secure the Jets, but then you look back and you're like, fuck, I own the Jets. You know?
I know it is. I'm going on. Well, so our podcast tonight is a My Guys, and we're going to be talking about Jets because they do have good players and they are in a better offensive situation than they've been in the last couple of years. And you could say what you want about Justin Fields, but this is the best opportunity he's ever had too. So I think that it's hard to fade these guys, especially in these tournaments too, because it's like, man, it feels like free money, right? And that's what you want, especially in the best ball formats. What do you got going on, man? What's happening? Jamie wants to know if we're going to be doing live pods for Fast Draft. I think that he wanted to do a live Fast Draft, but
yeah,
I think
no, that's something that's definitely planned in the future, in the near future. Like once we get more tournaments rolling, and like especially when I say full best ball, it's still going to be shorter than, let's say, drafting 18 rounds. Like 15 still shortens that up. And we like get desktop and get a lot of those other new things. Friday, probably I'm going to have a lot more streams. Right now it's like, especially on the Fast Draft channel, we're talking balls. What I'm telling everyone, where I'm looking at players, I'm talking giving you Dynasty, redraft, and best ball strategy all in one. And as we get these more tournaments, we'll have more specific things where we'll talk strategy, and they'll be like live formats like this, where I'll have like Mike on, I'll get some of those projection nerds and their spreadsheets out, stuff like that. So.
One question from Z, man. How do you feel about Butte this year? I don't know, actually, because
if he's getting touches, we're cooked.
Yeah, I think the whole offense is cooked. If we're talking about, I think that we're looking at Diggs when healthy, Kyle Williams, and then Douglas. Hunter Henry. And Douglas in there as well. But I think that this is going to be the passing attack. You feel like he fits in anywhere?
I mean, it's like you nailed it. Like, I think there's going to be a lot of heavy packages, and the passing distribution, just knowing how Josh McDaniels runs, it's going to be Kyle Williams, Demario Douglas, Hunter Henry, Trevion Henderson. That's who is getting the ball. Everyone else might get some touches afterwards, but it'll be hyper targeted. A lot of stuff is going to be super fast with calculated deep shots, with Kyle Williams and maybe Hunter Henry pressing the seam. If you like Booty for the value, he literally costs nothing. Like, he costs nothing, and he is better than Baker. Javon Baker still has catch problems. I was looking at OTA practice the other day. He's still making drops. I think that a ship has sailed. Polk is already battling injuries. So if you want to, I guess, a backup to someone like Kyle Williams, or who could play sacrificial X and maybe earn targets, I would take a shot on him because he's nothing. But I don't have any hopes for Booty. We fucked up wide receiver like 10 draft picks in a row. I don't know how you do that bad as a team, man.
Dude, I mean, it is what it is. And I think it's the pain that I have to live with for having to go to 7 parades in the last 10 years or whatever that was, that stretch of time. Are you going to take Bateman or Burden? I want Burden here.
Burden off the bat, but this is one of those cases where if I'm playing a diversity game, I like them both, where I'm like, all right, I'm a little overweight on Burden. Let's go start taking Bateman a little bit more often, type thing. Once we get quarterbacks and stacking, then that's like, okay, well, who's your quarterback? That's
yeah, man. Dude, drop what's going on with Fast Draft channel. What's happening? What's going on this week?
I'll have a new video today where I'm talking about vets, where I'll go in a little bit more detail, talking about Adams, Hubbard, Mason, Williams, and Bateman. I'll have Cooter Doodle on for a podcast on Monday, where we're going to talk about quarterback rankings and tiers. I don't know if we're going to do best ball or dynasty yet. I'm not sure. I'll once I build that sheet and have a feeling, I'll let it know, but it will be rankings. Still, we'll have 3 videos a week. One's a long pod, 2 short videos, and I'll have content going out every day, as long as it's shorts or stuff on Twitter. So,
hell yeah. And we just went over all of Fast Drafts. We talked strategy, we talked players, ADP, all that good stuff. If you are not in Fast Draft, or you just want to go in there and jump on, go to fastdraft.app and use our promo code DGEN for up to a $50 deposit match. So that's promo code DGEN, DEGEN. And I want to thank Mr. Jagger Maye. He is the lead guy for Fast Draft. Go follow my man at Jag Says. Man, I still don't like that new handle, but it is what it is. We just keep going, we keep moving. I appreciate you, brother, and I hope everybody has a good day. Thank you.